I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Bar merch.
This is Sylosis.
Yeah, apparently.
And this handsome fella is the big homie who will be keeping me company. This little fella right here. He's going to be keeping me company.
Is he the one that paid for this song?
No.
Oh.
No, this is Ripple the God.
Oh. Okay.
You don't know what Ripple the God is?
Okay, Ripple the God is the one that paid for the song, or is the
No,
guy in the
it's my
jacket?
buddy right here in the jacket.
Okay, babe, I'm a little confused here. Who was the one that asked for this song? Who purchased this song? Remember he was talking? Was it Mike?
It's my buddy Mike. I'm not,
Shout out to Mike.
You almost doxed the fella.
No, he's on.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he wants people in the main channel to know.
All right, shout out to Mike.
Lord. Shout out to Mike. Ripple the God is saying hi. See, look, see. I'm here.
Ripple the God.
I'm here, Sorry.
Wait,
blah, blah,
isn't
blah.
he the
there
one
is.
that was making those paintings?
No, that wasn't Ripple the God. That was somebody else.
Same photo.
All right, and
All right.
of course there's Jambi saying something negative. I can't believe it. He never says anything negative, that Jambi fella.
It's just the intro a little lame. Okay, Jambi, send me a better one. Email it to us.
Hey, Mike, do you want to be featured on the channel in this video, or do you want to keep your privacy? I have no respect for Ripple the God's privacy, so I just put his name up there. Hell yeah, bro.
Yes, send us some paintings.
Sending some paint. Okay, we're talking way too long. The song is Apparitions from the band Sylosis. And surprise, surprise, you wonderful people, I'm going to put the lyrics up there to help you. Okay.
3:20.
And it is
Here it
time. Sylosis-Apparitions. Let's go.
Like it. Give me a good voice. Give me a good voice.
Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's...
Maybe people wanted to see the commercial again.
Wow.
The
Instrumentation on this was so good.
Shizzle.
I loved the guitar, the bass, the way they brought everything together, the drums. Like, you know what the feeling that you get? You and I are going to have different... I'm sorry. When there's fireworks and when that pop happens, like inside you feel it in your chest, and I love that feeling, and then the brightness in the sky, and it's so pretty, and it like makes me feel like that there's some happiness that's about to happen, probably get kissed under the fireworks, whatever. But like that feeling was like this song, like that. It was like, oh, it was so good. Oh my gosh, I really, really, really liked it. I really liked the... Okay, I was hoping for some really great clean vocals, but then I went with these vocals too, and I liked them. I would have loved some clean vocals in it though, but it was still really, 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 really good, and the topic was interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean?
About what?
Well, maybe let me not address that. Let me go the other way. So I agree with you about the clean vocals. If we would have had like a 30-second like soaring vocal,
yes,
like just
either
belt
at the
it out,
beginning
belt
or in
it
the
out.
middle.
Now I don't know what this guy's capabilities are vocally,
right? He might not
so
be,
it might be one of those situations where he understood what his limits were. Limits were. But I mean, holy shit. You know, obviously, as the guy that plays guitar in our band, like I'm gonna be biased toward. I say this all the time. I'm biased towards guitar. But man, but in my mind, metal. That is the main thing that makes metal distinct from all other music is the electric guitar, and what we do with the distortion and the effects and all that, and the rhythm sections and all that.
Yeah.
Obviously. You know, I'm sure if I was a bassist, I would have said the rhythm section is what makes metal, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But man,
same if you were a drummer.
When these guys, I really
liked this.
What they do with that instrument, holy moly. That's a 7-minute song? That's
What?
the other thing. That's a 7-minute song song was. Go look at it.
Was it really? I thought it was 3 minutes.
I'm pretty sure it was like 7.
Where is that?
Just put it in there. I'm pretty sure it's a 7-minute song.
No, that's Berlin. Okay, I'm gonna just boop.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 7-minute song.
Okay.
So
well, anyway, carry on. If it's 7 minutes, that's unbelievable.
It didn't feel like that at all. Yeah, 7 minutes and 16 seconds.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I told you.
That is shocking.
So
Literally thought it was like 3 minutes. But you know what? That's one thing that's interesting about it is the 3 minutes that I thought it was. Like sometimes when a song ends, you're like, well, that was way too soon. This one, like, I loved it, so I could have had more, but I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, that got cut off halfway through. So it's a damn good thing it was an over 7-minute song because...
Yeah, man, these guys... It's just
deep.
Absolutely amazing. There's been a couple songs in 2021. The mixes that these folks are bringing to us, like this Mike guy, I don't even see him talking in the channel. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know.
Like he begged the entire. We've been on for 3 hours.
He's like, nothing needs to be said.
Holy
Look at
shit,
you guys.
We've been asked for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And so he's been on it every day for the last 40 days and all night, and now he's here. He doesn't even get to see us react.
Yeah, but he might be here and he just doesn't have anything to say because it's like there, boom, mic drop.
People are saying heavy kill switch influence. Oh, okay, he's right there.
I'm here. I told you, Mike, it's true, right? You were just like, it's a mic drop song. Like, what needs to be said? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really see a lot of the kill switch influence here. Like kill switch engage.
Oh, I know who they're talking about.
I don't. No, I'm
Maybe
not seeing.
I can.
I'm not,
maybe a little bit.
I'm not seeing the kill
Maybe a
switch.
little bit. I don't know. It was so good. It just.
I don't know. Genre-wise, I guess they're a metalcore band, but these guys are. At least this song. Maybe the rest of the record. I'll have to look at the record, but this song didn't sound like anybody in the sense of, like, there's some bands that are just like when you guys hear our stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, he was listening to this song. Like, it's obvious. Like this, I don't know.
Well, I think some of my vocal styles, it'll be like, oh, that's.
Yeah, I think there are portions of your vocal style that they'll say, oh, that's that. But that's just that's a placeholder until you get more confident and things like that. Then you'll have your own, type of thing. But although what you do vocally, in my opinion, is different than what anybody can do, just because of the talent mix that you have. But we'll have to see when the song comes out. When Ben Webb goes and says the shit that he says, then we'll whatever. But I'm with Sub-Zero. Like, it didn't really sound very Kill Switchy to me. No disrespect to Kill Switch, they're one of my favorite bands. I mean, we went to that show to go see Kill Switch live. So
oh my gosh,
it was just the musicianship was so crazy. Like, right from the start. And it kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, 20 seconds in, it's like, oh, I know what this is going to be. It's going to be some nice, ethereal or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it just got straight like, wrong, motherfuckers! We're a metal band! Like, I loved it.
Very good. Very, very good.
I absolutely loved it. Such a good song. Such a good... what's crazy is usually you're the one that gets lost in the music, and I'm focused in on the lyrics. I had the lyrics up here and stuff, but I was just like not doing a very good job because I was so in love with the instrumentation. So fuck you very much to the guitarist, because I couldn't. You're such a badass. I couldn't look at the lyrics, and that's usually what I do. So
oh no,
there's that. I actually want to talk to these guys.
That's a shout out to you guys. Really,
after we did an interview with a band one time, and I reached out to the guitarist and I said, hey, I'm working on this thing, and and he's like, yeah, I'll help you with that. Blah blah blah. I want to talk to the guitarist of this band. Not necessarily the singer, which is, but I do want to talk to the guitarist. So we're going to have to set up an interview with Sylosis so that we can... So I can get access to their guitarist.
Oh
That's how much respect I have for that guitarist,
mad
man.
respect.
Holy shit. I think with guitar, like, here's my thing about guitar in my like, you got guys like Yngwie Malmsteen, who you're not familiar with, but he's just one of these, like, 6,000 notes in 4 minutes. It's like, yeah, man, great. But, and we had this conversation with Zen and Lindsay, like, but can you move people with your skill? Like, that's can you move people? Like, it's like...
Oh, no, the guitarist and the singer is the same guy? That's hilarious! What a great moment. If that's true, that's so funny.
That is like...
Bye, Tina.
Later, Tina T in the house. That is like not on the same level, but the John Lennon thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking. No joke, babe. I was thinking about John Lennon.
We got to interview them. Somebody said something about Led Zeppelin. They're like, "How did you?" I forgot the name of the song. They're like,
the Levy one.
The Levy one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
when the levee breaks.
Apparently, that's a really popular Led Zeppelin song. So somebody was like, how the hell do these guys not know? Come on, they're full of shit, blah, blah, blah. So then somebody under the thing started defending us by saying, no, they don't know shit about music. They're like, listen, this guy said he wanted to interview John Lennon. But the guy was defending us. Basically defending us by saying,
no, really, he's this much of an idiot.
He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. Don't worry. Give him some mercy.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So yeah, that was hilarious. Okay, so all right, so now we're back. Go ahead.
How quick the seasons change. The leaves turn from green to gray. A flickering apparition hovers above, so familiar yet so distant, preserved in age. Icy hands support a somber face. Like a curse of immortality, Father Time mocks me. Through a grave and tomb, past valley and precipice, emerges the ghost of retribution.
Oof.
The horizon burns, set light by kin and blood. A snake amongst us. He has soured this soil.
Soured the soil.
I mean. Sometimes I hope you aren't looking down on me to witness what I've become. Through time you will see what blinds you, beholder of all light. Turn back the stone to your slumber return.
Suspended on a tide of obscurity, a wraith missing a crown. Woo! You know, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the wraith. Damn.
It almost feels like time is standing still, yet somehow time has drained me of my youth. That was the one I was like,
oh yeah, time has drained me of my youth. Why was that so impactful to you?
Well, because it's really not time that drains you of your youth. It's stress and depression, and being around the wrong people sometimes can. All those things can really drain you of your youth, because I was going through a really, really difficult period of my life, and I felt so old because I was so stressed. And then you were just my great friend at the time, and like, man, you pushed me. We would run and run and run and run. And like all that summer, like there was so much running and jumping up on this and jumping off that thing. And it's just so much running. And like I felt so young when I was doing that. Like I literally felt like I was like 15 again. So like time wasn't really, then I would go back to my situation and I felt so old again. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like time is not necessarily what ages you, it's circumstances and situations. But certain people you can be around can make you feel young. Like when I spend time with Zoe, I feel younger.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, then there's other people that you're around and you're like, holy shit, I feel like 1,000 years old after being around you. But yeah, like we usually have, like Vinny and I, when we have fun together, it's a young sort of feeling. But yeah, so that's why I'm saying father time. I don't feel like ages you. Or you have some people that are old, but they didn't let life embitter them, even though they went through shit after hell after hell after hell. And those people have maintained a certain level of joyfulness and fun, even though, you know, they're...
Yeah, 100%.
She went through so much. The person I'm thinking of, it's just incredible how... I always look at her and think, how...
Why don't you don't want to... Because I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my aunt.
Yeah, it's your aunt. Yeah.
Shout out to my Aunt Doris. She's unbelievable. And I tell her all the time.
She's
like,
extremely...
can you stop putting this man in my face?
She's extremely positive.
But yeah, I'm like, I tell her, I'm like, wow, you did not let that...
You're going to get yourself killed in that comment section for that statement. I'm telling you.
Oh, no.
I wish you'd think about stuff like that.
Oh, no.
All right, so go ahead. Oh, no.
Oh, no. So anyway, yeah. But then, okay, so he says, Father Time forever mocks me. I've become powerless.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask about, like, the drain my youth. Don't you think also it's just a practical aspect of aging? Like, if you don't have a biblical worldview about aging, you don't believe that you're going to be resurrected in an immortal, glorious body. So time itself is going to rob you of your youth, and you're not going to get it back. Like, I agree with you on the metaphorical aspect of time robbing you of your youth because of circumstance, but isn't there a physiological sort of brute fact that time will literally rob you of your youth? Like, if you're 75, you know what I mean? Like, LeBron, I was listening to the thing about LeBron. He was talking about, like, he'd wake up and like have all these phantom aches and pains. He's like, what the hell? Where'd this come from? And it's like, it's that reality that you have to focus, that you know, it's, I think it's one of the reasons for the fascination with a guy like Tom Brady, who's 43 years old. By all intents and purposes, his career should have been done 10 years ago. I mean, the average lifespan of a football player is about 4.5 years in the NFL. Just 4.5 years. So these people, their entire lives are about 4.5 years of time. So for Tom to do what he's doing and then do it continuously at such a high level, it's just so fascinating, because it's like, this is a guy who is defying essentially the effects of the fall. If you want to go mega meta with it, time isn't the problem. It's entropy to a degree. It's the, from a biblical worldview, it's the curse. It's the you're now going to you know, genetics and life and the earth, everything is going to be against you as time goes on, and the hill is going to be actually harder to climb every year. And so we believe that God cursed the world. That's what it says. And you know, Jesus died to reverse the curse that God justly placed on the planet. So there is a sense in which time itself is a brute fact. If you don't have a biblical worldview, you're going to say that time takes your youth away. But in reality, it's sin and the curse that takes your youth away. Mm-hmm. But the way that gets translated to a secular person is that over time, your body's going to break down, your mind's going to break down, and it's going to steal your youth from you. And then he says, Father Time mocks me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's especially for me and you, like as Christians, we don't, especially if you're a lifelong Christian, if you've been a Christian your whole life, so you always had this concept that you were going to live again. Yeah. And there was never a time in your mind when you thought you were never going to exist again. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And same with me. And we've always had the mentality that this life is very short and not even the real show. The real show is going to begin after we die. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the narrative that we grew up with. So the fear of aging and getting older is just not something that I've ever really thought about. Now, one of the reasons I haven't thought about it is because I had a very rational reason for believing that I was not going to make it to my 80s or 90s or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it just never really occurred to me that, hey man, you're winding down and you're going to wind down. There's going to be one day when you're not going to be able to do the things that you can do now. There's going to come a time when people are going to have to help you get up and whatever, which, you know, I'm still very skeptical about me hitting 80. But at the same time, it's like, that's a real heavy albatross to carry around. And I don't know what that's like because I've never, you know, I mean, you're saying you've experienced it. Was it more about your beauty?
Oh, that's all it is.
Right. Okay. So
that's all it is.
So for the rest of us who are not strikingly beautiful people, that's not really something that most of us worry about because most of us don't.
I never even thought somebody's going to have to help me get up off the chair like that.
So that's interesting, right? Like physical independence is a big thing for me, and your beauty is obviously a big thing for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my physical independence is a big deal because when I'm pregnant and people have to do everything for me, it gets really, not everything for me, but when people have to start helping me with my shoes or, you know, hey, can you reach for that or bend over and get that thing for me? I don't like that feeling. But at the same time, I have learned to embrace it as an expression of love. So, like Dorian is super, super good. When I'm pregnant, he's like, wait mom, don't bend, let me get that, let me just, and he's like right there, like he sees what I'm needing and he goes and he gets it and he just goes all out. It's so funny because he like flipped a corner one time about it, like because the halfway through the first pregnancy, I think he wasn't that helpful. It was like in the negative sense. And then he flipped a corner. There was like one altercation him and I had, and then I don't know, it was like he flipped and he completely changed on that, and then ever since then he was like anything that I needed. But anyway, that's a very long way of he's a good boy. But anyway, that's not what I'm saying is just that my mind keeps going away from me. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Oh, but my beauty thing, the beauty aspect, is that's a problem. That is something that I think of Bathory Lady all the time, and I'm like, she was
really.
Oh, I think about that all the time.
Holy shit!
All the time because I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to kill people to say. I'm not trying to kill people to stay young, but I do see how like. That obsession for her, like, took her to some crazy, crazy levels. Like, she's bathing.
Well, again, I think beautiful. This is a burden of beautiful people like you, because the thing that you're most celebrated for is on a clock.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with football players or anybody in that thing. Like, the thing that you're most celebrated for is guaranteed to leave you. So, and, I mean, it happens all. A guy like John Piper, brilliant mind. Eventually, that mind is gonna go. Mm-hmm. He's not gonna be able to, recall things like that and all the rest of it like he normally does.
No, Cassia, that's what I'm talking about.
Sori is the new Elizabeth Bathory.
No, I'm not going to kill any young girls and bathe in their blood.
She's going to kill middle-aged girls and bathe in their blood.
No, I'm not bathing in anybody's blood. Gross.
Well, I mean, you're a Christian, so go ahead.
But anyway, I'm just saying, like, that the idea, like, sometimes, like, I have to stop thinking about it because it really starts bothering me. I start thinking about all the things that older women have said. What? About aging.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bathory.
No, my God. No, I think about, I'm like, wait a minute, this woman, and, like, they're all, like, different. Like, some of them were, beauty was, like, a big thing. Other ones, not so big. But even still, like, they're like, well, your body changes, your face changes, you want to get, this part's hanging and you want to get it picked up and, like, all these things. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for all of that. I haven't grown enough. I'm not mature enough for that yet. Mm-hmm.
Well, Isaac has figured out your plot. Your disgust for blood is just a convenient cover story.
Oh my gosh.
I agree.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but the passage, I remember one time this guy, Michael Savage. This is like 2002.
Cassia, this may put a new spin on the Us Going on a Girls' Spa Weekend someday.
Yeah, don't do it, Cass. Cass, don't do it. You'll never be seen or heard from again. And not in the good way.
What, Cassie, how old are you exactly? Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying? Sorry.
Yeah. Savage Nation. Yeah, my man Michael Savage. One of the most acerbic, miserable human beings on the planet Earth.
Okay.
Holy shit.
So what happened?
He was just always angry. He's like, borders language culture. That was his big thing. Borders language culture. And then anybody who was like on the left, he'd call them red diaper doper babies. The red diaper doper babies, because they had red diapers because they've been communists since they were babies. Get it? Red diaper doper babies, and their parents are all on drugs. He was like, he was just a horrible, horrible person. And he wasn't horrible. He was just very, very angry. And it was 2002, 2003, so we were all still pretty pissed off. Mm-hmm. But he was able to maintain that anger for quite some time. So anyway, he used to run these commercials on his... It's actually what introduced me to Shortest Straw from Metallica, but I've already told that story. But he talked about how there was this one commercial, and it was basically this guy giving a monologue, and he said, I know what it is to be young, but you don't know what it is to be old. Mm-hmm. And I thought... That's true.
To girls all the time.
I said, that's true. I don't know what it's like to be like this guy. 9/11 had just happened. Of course, at the time, I thought I was, like, mm-hmm. indestructible. But,
you don't still?
No, I don't. No, when I fucked up my ankle on my last trip, it was pretty clear I was not indestructible. Prior to that, though, I was, because I came back clean all the time, and all my friends would be like, this fucking guy. I'm like,
what was that thing? Something Dawn?
Huh?
That was with that little thing. You'd be like, when you were doing all your names at the beginning, Something Dawn.
Oh, Teflon Dawn.
Teflon Dawn. I was like, it's a pan. Anyway.
Yeah, Teflon Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was gonna say something about this whole thing. Okay, so anyway, go ahead.
But you mocked me, so the gods are against you. Turn back the stone to your slumber return is really interesting. Well, how did you interpret that? Turn back the stone.
Oh, you know what I thought of was a dial.
Yeah.
And so it was to turn back time.
Yeah, reverse the sundial.
Yeah.
That's how I got it. and to your slumber return. I'm assuming it's he's talking about father time or death or whatever. Because really what people, you know, it's a phrase in sports, father time is undefeated. Mm-hmm. But really what they're saying is death is undefeated. Because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And of course, the power of conscious agents theory, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the basic understanding of the secular world is that matter came first, and then somehow out of matter came consciousness. Mm-hmm. And guys like Hoffman and all the rest of them, obviously, I'm gonna agree with this because this goes very well with my worldview. Hoffman says that it is impossible to boot up consciousness from just raw matter. Mm-hmm. I think he's right.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So he's like, you physicalists, you material fundamentalists, you guys with this assumption that it just all we had initially was matter that you don't have to prove. Like, and he's like, no, consciousness started first. Mm-hmm. So I'm at the foothills of studying this guy, but he's essentially saying that that existence, whatever came before the universe, was these collections of millions of consciousnesses that wanted to interact with each other, but couldn't because they were disembodied consciousnesses. And so we created this sort of field where we could have a stage to bump into each other and jump into these machines, called physical bodies and mm-hmm. you know, run into each other. And I'm completely poeticizing his theory because this guy is like a straight scientist, like to the core. So what I'm just saying is a translation mm-hmm. of what he said. And so I'm telling Dorian this story, right? Like, hey, that's you know, and so the physical world, he doesn't believe any of this stuff really exists.
Yeah,
and this
in
guy's
the way
an actual,
that you see it.
Right? This guy's, I mean, he's got mathematicians and stuff. I'm like halfway through one of his books, and he's got really, really interesting stuff. But here's my point. The reason that it was so fascinating to me was, one, because that's obviously dovetails very well with our worldview, because what do Christians say? We say matter is not fundamental. What we say is that consciousness is fundamental, and that the highest value of those consciousnesses were relationships, because that's what he's saying. And so, yeah. So then, if that is true, one of the things that Hoffman doesn't address is how come we forgot that?
Yeah. Like,
okay, so we all decided that we're going to create the physical universe. How come we don't remember it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if the entire point was for us to bump into each other, then how come we don't remember that? Well, the reason is because we're not the creators. Mm-hmm. Hoffman, because he's in the scientific community, blah, 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 he has to say that we created the interface so that we could find each other, right? It's like, that's so brilliant and beautiful, but why don't we remember it then, Hoffman? It's because we're not the ones who... I believe he's right. I believe that God created the physical interface so that we could bump into each other, but also so that he could relate to us, right? And so he's got a family in heaven. That's why the angels are called B'nai Elohim, and he's got a family on earth, and that's why we're called B'nai Elohim. So even though I don't agree with him perfectly, it does explain why songs like this and a movie like Interstellar, where basically the whole, sorry to be a spoiler, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but basically the most powerful element in the world, according to Interstellar, the most powerful emotion in Interstellar, the most powerful principle in the universe in Interstellar was love, the love between a father and his daughter. So in Interstellar, you have the sort of confluence of like science and our desire for relationships and how relationships are so important to us. And you kind of get a boom, this is what it would look like spread out across time and space over hundreds of years. Okay, great. But it explains why we all have such a hard time when we lose people in this dimension. Because we were built for a relationship. And the idea that the people that you love and that you're around every day start dying around you. The older you get, people start dying around you. People know the craziness that I've, whatever. But even aside from a person like me, just the older you get, the more and more people die. The more people you went to school with die. The more famous people die. That's been a crazy thing for me to see Black Rob and DMX die basically 3 or 4 days apart. And it wasn't because of, a shootout.
Yeah.
It's because DMX was 54 or something like that, and his body could no longer handle the abuse of the drugs. And Black Rob had some kidney issue or whatever. But, like, they're dead. And they died basically of, natural causes. But, in our environment, it was like dudes were dying in a shootout. So you're dying at 24. You're dying at whatever. Somebody dying at 57. Like, it's like, whoa. And the more and more that happens, the more difficult it becomes for people to accept this is all there is. Like, I'm never going to see that person ever again, ever. And the essence, their ousia, whatever you want to call it, I'm never going to experience again. We're never going to have that interface again, blah, blah, blah. And people just have a very, very hard time accepting that. And so the most cynical way to look at that is to say, well, yeah, you have a hard time accepting that. And so you created this fairy tale and blah, blah, blah. Or you might say, the reason we have a hard time accepting that is because we know intuitively that's not ultimate reality. So you can look at this thing from both ways. But so it was just so fascinating looking at a song about seasons changing, the passage of time, all these things, and then thinking about my religion / scientific sort of things. And it's just like, one of these days, the Western world is going to create a school of thought that takes religious claims and scientific claims as different sides of the same coin. Yeah. And then if a person could form
that together and
a philosophy around that, including psychology, I think Jordan Peterson is I think his contribution is leading people to Jung. I think that's Peterson's greatest contribution. But if we could find a sort of way to harmonize all of these concepts to get a more robust. So like talking to Ian and saying, how do you know Jesus didn't reorganize some molecules or whatever when he's walking on water? There's easily scientific explanations for all of this shit. What we call supernatural, and I just think like demystifying the supernatural in a philosophical, scientific, and mathematical way, I think would be just so powerful. Not to prove anything, not for apologetics, but just for an understanding of who and what we are and why we're here. Songs like this say, no, there has got to be something bigger than... And then the art that they... This is the thing that's mind-boggling to me.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the reasons why I married Vinny. This mind.
But, like, if you think about it, like... Look at what's happening. Like, you got people that have pulled out, found ways to take the vibrations of strings or to pull the skin of an animal in such a way and hit it in such a way that it makes it sound. So these guys took all these random sounds and skins and metal, and they found a way to organize those movements and sounds in such a way as to create something not only intelligible but beautiful. While the lyrical content is presenting a nihilistic universe, but he's fighting against it. He's telling Father Time, go backwards. It's a sort of like... And if you were to go into a time machine and play the first 50 seconds of this song 500 years ago to a group of people, they'd say this is magic, this is heavenly, this is they'd say this is supernatural, blah 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 blah. And then we would say, no, it's not supernatural, it's a bunch of guys in a garage. No, it is supernatural. It is amazing what these kids were able to do.
Right.
But because it happens on repeat so much, now all of a sudden it's out of the category of the supernatural. You see what we do?
Right.
So it's only supernatural if it's something that's like singular and we can't explain it. And then on the other side, with the Christian side, it's like everything that we can explain is supernatural. It's like maybe they're the exact same thing. Everything can be explained. It's just we don't have the knowledge yet. And that's why I say in the new world, there won't be preachers, but there will be scientists. Right? Because I mean, subhanallah, who are you going to preach to? I mean, you got Jesus, you got the angels, whatever.
You're going to preach the stuff that the scientists say, because some people are better speakers than others.
It might be
inspirational.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many.
The point.
There's so many things that you know. I think Sean is right. Music is the closest thing to real magic.
Oh my gosh.
And if you've ever been to a rock show, you've experienced it. I remember, we're not even big, what was that? Alice in Chains. We're not big Alice in Chains fans. We were at the Korn show. We're there for Korn. You know, Brian invited us out, whatever. But they had this one song. I don't even remember the song. And everybody put their cell phones up. And it was like, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000 people.
Beautiful.
And I'm just like looking around.
You can see it in our, we reacted. We gave it like a breakdown of everything.
Yeah, Christians at a Korn show. You can see it.
Yeah, it's a good watch.
But man, being there, bro, like with those.
We like recorded while we were there.
Looking around, seeing all of those lights and looking at that show, it's like, wow. Like something is going on here. And you feel
like a sort of connection with everybody that's there, even though
Correct.
you don't know them.
Correct.
But you feel like you're a part of something, and they're a part of what you're a part of, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was not Shell. I think it was not Shell. But it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And so it's like, you've got some worldviews that like to take all the wonder out of the world. Like, it's a silly idea that if we can explain how it happened, it's no longer wonderful. And then you got these other people that want to create a superstitious world that has no reward for rigorous intellectual research. And the religious people almost like, it's almost like a crime to go into the science and dig into the science.
Yeah.
And with so-called scientific people, like we've got one guy here that always has some silly comment, but is never going to debate and always uses the weekend as the reason for why. But then you've got other people with silly ideology that's like, oh no, if I can't explain it, there's going to be an explanation somewhere along the line with the scientists. And so if I can't explain something, the scientist 100 years from now will explain it. So I can't explain. None of these people can deal with the hard problem of consciousness. I was just watching Sam Harris and he goes, I got nothing. But these people, they'll say, eventually we'll figure it out. Or how life came from non-life. We'll eventually figure it out. And then they'll look at you and mock you for having faith. That's why Jambi won't come on. And Jambi's never going to come on and have that discussion. Because he knows. And what I'm saying is, the religious superstitious people are wrong and they're unbiblical. Because the scripture says it is the glory of God to conceal a matter and the glory of kings to seek it out. That then is a commandment from God to push forward at the scientific endeavor. That's why I say there are going to be scientists in the new world, because God has hidden a bunch of Easter eggs in the world and says, figure out how I did it. And you got religious people saying, that's bad. It's like, what? How is it bad? But this song is like, I could talk about this song for hours because the song has a lot of ramifications.
I wish I would have had this conversation when I was 16.
The impulse for us to want to continue to hold those relationships and not accept death, because that was the last line of the song. It's him telling death to go back to where it came from and whatever, because he's not going to accept it. That impulse is there because death is not the final word on anything. And it's even in nature, for God's sake. How do you get trees? You get trees because of death and resurrection. You put a seed in the ground,
all the fruit,
and it rots and dies, and then from that death comes a tree that provides life to all the birds and blah 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 blah. Like,
and it's crazy too, because in the death there's like a strawberry. You take one strawberry, it's got so many seeds in it, and that one death of that one strawberry can create so many plants.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, the story is right there. It's there. And then people go, Christians just came up with the death and resurrection because of the dying and rising gods. And then, of course, Perkinos destroyed that nonsense. But it's like, instead of saying, wait a second, maybe there's a message here. Maybe there's a message. The message is in a fallen world, the way that you get ultimate life is through death and resurrection. And the thing that is planted is nowhere near as glorious and amazing as the thing that comes out. And that's true for, and it's amazing to me that not many people have said, well, maybe that's a pattern for us.
Yeah.
Is it possible? I think it's possible. Anyway, I went all over the place. If there's still people watching this, type 675. I'll do a random thingamajiggy. And get these poor people in the chat, they had no choice but to sit here and listen to all this nonsense.
How many people are still here with it? Oh, we basically get the same amount.
Sam Harris's wife has a book that's literally called Consciousness. Yeah, I agree. Somebody Google the hard problem of consciousness and tell us who's figured it out. I'm not saying Ellie is saying that she's figured it out. I'm just saying I'm putting that challenge out there because nobody has even come close. The thing about the hard problem of consciousness is it's been around for a while and nobody has even taken step one to being able to solve the problem. Yeah. That's the issue.
Yeah.
And Hoffman is saying it's because it's impossible. It's logically impossible to boot up consciousness from matter. That can't happen.
Right. Clyde said something had to put the Big Bang into motion.
Obviously. And then Senior Clay's got to win. Look at those 675s. What do you get the song?
Oh, jeez. Now our conversation was so good, I forgot about the song. The song was really good. I'm gonna have to go with a 10 because it was good all around, and then it created the great conversation. And
obvious 10. Obviously. Good job, Mike. Yep. Holy moly. And shout out to everybody for hanging out with us. It's been 4 hours. Sorry, guys. Went a little bit long. And then shout out to this sexy beast over here. I'm going to center him right now. This is my buddy, the God. Look at he's got the black ring with the leather jacket. I swear to God, bro, I got to get me a leather jacket
so funny,
now.
babe.
I'm not kidding. Because of this guy, next winter, I'm going to be in a leather jacket all winter.
That's going to look really good on you.
I'm going to be intolerable.
I tried to get you to get that other one. Remember when we were at the store?
I know.
I was like,
but I was like, But I'm going to be really intolerable with this jacket.
Now, if I could go back in time, I would have pushed for you to get it. Anyway, it's so funny because I was reading Cassia's message where she was having Duke or somebody message her or something like that. And as I was reading that, you were like, and look at this sexy beast right here. And I was like, holy shit, I'm surprised you just said that about Cassia. I'm like, that was a little bit, a little too much, I think. And then I realized you were talking about your buddy. I was like, I'm very surprised, Vin, you just said that.
Yeah. And that's not how the conversation would have been.
No, that's our conversation here.
That's not how her face would have been.
No.
If I would have made that error. Believe you me.
No, yes.
All right. Well, shout out to everybody in the stream for enduring and staying as long as you did. Holy moly, 4 hours. I cannot believe it. And shout out to Ripple the God for being my buddy on the side there. And then Elizabeth Bathory. Oh, that was good. Get it? Elizabeth Bathory. I feel like, okay, so we tried to do a shirt giveaway tonight. It didn't work out. Maybe we should give this guy the shirt. I don't know.
Snoopy?
It's top with Snoopy.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know why any of you are still around. I'll be checking the comment section for the 675 so we can eeny, meeny, miny, mo who gets a shirt. Anyway, buy our merch. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.